Do you know that individuals who set clear boundaries report 20% lower levels of anxiety and 25% lower levels of depression? This one statistic shows just how important it is to set and maintain healthy boundaries in all areas of life. Do you agree with me? While setting boundaries has many benefits in terms of an individual's well being, the problem is many people still do not know what a boundary is and do not have much clarity about setting healthy boundaries. Also, most of the people make mistakes while setting boundaries. Today, let's dive deep into setting healthy boundaries with some eye opening insights. In this video, you will learn what a boundary is and what not to do while setting boundaries and solutions to some common mistakes. Hi, I am Malika Murali, a mindset growth coach. I specialize in helping emotional abuse survivors break through their mindset blocks, realize their full potential, and achieve real growth. My mission is to empower you to take control of your life and create a future full of hope and possibility. Now, a boundary is a clearly defined limit which separates you from the other. A boundary is a virtual circle around you where you end and the other person begins. This space is your personal space within which you are operating as an individual human being. It distinguishes your needs, desires, and responsibilities from those of others. You have a right and a duty to protect your boundaries for your own well being. This boundary is not the same for everyone. This boundary is set by you according to your comfort level, depending on what is acceptable to you and what is not acceptable. Your boundary is personal to you, and no one can challenge it unless it violates any legal, moral, or ethical standards. Is it clear now? Now, let us see what are the three common mistakes that people do while setting boundaries. Number one, boundary is not a request but a response. Many a times, what happens is people ask the other person to change their behavior and think that by asking so, they have set a boundary. No, asking them to change their behavior is not equivalent to setting a boundary. Boundary is about your response to their behavior. Asking them not to interact in a particular way is okay, but it doesn't end with a request. You need to let them know very clearly, without any ambiguity, how you would respond to their behavior. So, a boundary has two parts to it. Telling them what not to do is the first part, and telling them how you would respond is the second part. Both these parts together form a boundary. Got it? Let us see an example. Suppose someone is yelling at you or criticizing you in public. You may say, "Don't yell at me like this," or "Don't criticize me in public like this." But do you think saying this will protect your safety and well being? No, not at all. What's the guarantee that the other person will respect your request or order, whatever it may be? What's the guarantee that the other person will not violate the request? Here, you may say, "Don't yell at me like this. If you yell at me again, I will walk out from this place." This is where you are really setting a boundary. You need to set a consequence or punishment in case of violation by the other person. Got it? Before we move on to the next mistake, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, as your subscription would help us to spread awareness about emotional abuse and setting boundaries. Also, please share this video to as many people as possible so that it reaches those who are experiencing difficulty in setting boundaries and maybe needing some sort of help. Mistake number two, changing the other person is not your responsibility. You cannot expect the other person to change because of your boundaries. As I told you, your boundaries are your responses. They define your personal space. Don't set the boundaries with the expectation that the other person will change. No, no, no. It's not your responsibility to change the behavior of the other person. He or she has every right to be himself or herself, more like how you have. Your boundary is for your protection and not for changing the other. This is another common mistake that people do while setting boundaries. As long as you have set healthy boundaries, how does it matter if the other person changes or not? It is their responsibility and not yours. Number three, respect your boundaries before expecting others to respect them. Few people set boundaries with the intention of threatening the other person with some dire consequences without actually having any intention of implementing it. Like how we tell our children that we will give some severe punishment if they do something wrong. But actually, when they do it, we will not punish them, but we will give them some warning, one more warning, right? The same way here. But this will be detrimental, I tell you. Don't ever resort to setting boundaries which you do not intend to implement. Because once they find out that you will not stick to it, they will violate your boundaries every time. You have to only set boundaries which you will respect and implement in case of any violation. Unless you respect your boundaries, others will not respect them. That's why it's very important that you recognize what is acceptable to you and what is not acceptable to you. And also decide what response you would be comfortable with. And then set your boundary. Now, let's quickly recap the solutions for these mistakes. Number one, while setting boundaries, you should complete both the parts, namely request and the response. That is, asking them not to behave in a certain way and how you would respond in case they behave the wrong way. Number two, don't expect the other person to change because of your boundaries. Boundaries are set to protect your safety and it is personal to you. It is not meant to change the other's behavior. Number three, respect your own boundaries if the other person has to respect it. Respecting the boundary is by implementing it without fail whenever the boundary is violated. Okay, so if you find this video insightful and useful and want to get more knowledge on such topics, please click on the link given in the comment to join my WhatsApp group where such tips will be posted regularly. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video with more insightful information.